asking YouTube! Throughout history, it's been debated what the best mirror match is, what the most fun mirror match in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. Was it E-Dragons? The years that we had with those, with or without baby rulers. Was it Pepe, the elusive mirror match we only got about a month with, at full power? Could it be GOAT? It's highly debated to be so, but we're not here to talk about the best mirror matches. We're here to talk about the top 10 most cancerous, most insane, mind-boggling mirror matches that you just didn't want to play. And below me is Fusion Substitute, to allude to the Fusion Sub combo and Zoo and the Fusion Sub Zoo mirror that people really hated. A lot of game ones went into time with that deck. It was so insane how long those games could take. But it might deserve a spot in our top 10. Let me know if you think it does. It's a little fresh in my memory, though. Maybe the wounds are too fresh, so I wanted to put it as honorable mention. And in our number 10 slot, we've got Magispectors. Now, why are Magispectors in my top 10 here? Well, the core aspect of Magispectors is that your traps take care of what your opponent has, either proactively or reactively. But all the Magispector traps can't destroy the Magispectors because they have the built-in effect that they cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, thus making the aspect of the deck that is reactive really suck against itself. And then on top of it, you have tiny little woodland critters going into battle where typically QB is your biggest one. Magispectors themselves didn't really play Kieran. It wasn't worth it. You weren't pending him out, you were tributing him, and then he didn't even work on the monsters themselves. So I've got to give it to the Magispector mirror. At least you're doing something. You're attacking back and forth. It's a really grindy game, and you can at least side the stuff out for game 2 that's not going to affect it. I played through them. I really didn't enjoy it. So for that reason, it's in my number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9 is a oldie but a goodie, we'll call it. Gravekeepers. Yes, you know that aspect when a stun deck finally becomes meta and, ooh, it's felt so good. I've been playing Gravekeepers forever. I've been busting. Oh no, it's the Gravekeeper mirror match. Now, there was one thing that alleviated this stun-filled, resource-filled mirror match to make it standable, and I would call that Gravekeeper's Descendant. Gravekeeper Descendant was a proactive piece between the decks that really could speed up these duels, but even establishing that could be very hard with all those back rows. You could lose it to Bottomless. Oh, the Gravekeeper mirror. It's one of the all-time held stun decks. Whenever I log into a Yu-Gi-Oh game, there's still somebody playing Gravekeepers. It feels like every time I log into a new Yu-Gi-Oh game, in the first couple weeks, I face those Gravekeeper players who are coming back and trying to learn new Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is what they're flexing. But definitely not a mirror match you want to run into, even if you're trying to remember the good old times. At least in my opinion. In the number 8 slot comes one of the longest, most resource-filled mirror matches that got you nowhere. Burning Abyss. And we might be facing even more of these mirror matches, but the Burning Abyss mirror match, it sped up once we got Barbar, but straight from the start, triple Graph, triple Seer, triple Dante, the mirror match was such a grind. The 2500 defense was so hard to get past. Sometimes you would have to make a 2700 downer to goes to 25. It just gets crashed by a Dante. It is not fun, and then Dante is getting back resources everywhere. The Seer Dante soft lock is there. Just definitely not. But it got way worse with the introduction of Premium Gold and Beatrice. Yes, Beatrice definitely brought the level of this mirror match's cancer to new levels. It was so insane walking up and down YCS Houston's rows to see 3 Beatrices against 3 Beatrices on so many people's rows. And even at one, that 2800 defense was so hard to get past. Even when you took care of her, she would bring out a bigger buffer Dante. It was such a grind to watch. The people would be in game 1s in time. It was sickening, at least to me. But I know there are people who enjoyed it. There was the introduction of Barbar by that point. and it definitely did help soften it up, but still, what a grindy, resourcey, often you're going for game by Nightmare Shark. Just terrible mirror match, in my opinion, at times. We go into the number 7 slot with one you might not expect on my list, the Mermail mirror match. Now, John, why would the Mermail mirror match be here? Well, first off, in games 2 and 3, what are you making if you're going first in the mirror match? Oh, that's right, Abyss Dweller. If I summon Abyss Dweller, activate effect, and you didn't draw that chalice you sided in, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to be negging for every summon, and I might have even established an Abyss Gaios on top of it just to laugh at your attempts on what you're going to do to me. Abyss Dweller definitely makes this mirror match one of the worst that's out there, especially if you knew game 1. You know, later rounds in a tournament, hey, I know I'm playing the mirror match. Oh, I won the dice roll. It's game 1. You don't have chalice. Activate Dweller. Now, it's not game straight away. There are hands where it wasn't good enough and all you can make is the Dweller and your hand's still kind of stuck. But definitely Dweller, being in the extra deck, having that access, and any sort of knowledge that it is the Mermail mirror, it's just not a good mirror. Now, in our number 6 slot, the deck that likes to play with itself a whole lot, Ritual Beast. I don't know how they did the mirror match. A deck that already played with itself for 12 minutes at times in its turn 1 combo, and then has such a poor recovery overall if it gets hit or slapped in the face. You really had to have E-Telly to continue it all if you got hit by the traps that are already searchable, such as Steeds in the deck. I definitely have to say that this deck already people hated facing, but I enjoyed learning it. I enjoyed learning about it, but I certainly did not enjoy learning anything about the mirror match. Shoutouts to Miguel Soto, and it's your boy Pro Winston for repping this deck and taking it to the top 8 and top 4 of nationals that year. But I would never want to suffer through that, but even worse than suffering through watching someone play with themselves and being able to do nothing about it afterwards is perhaps being scared to activate a single card. The Dark World Mirror. We're going back in time again, back into a meta that we may not want to remember for some of you and others hold so dear. Dark Worlds. That's right. So, what's so bad about the mirror? Well, almost all of your cards that get you going, all your starter cards slash your wanting to resource cards, they kind of really help your opponent way more than you. This is supposed to be a self-sufficient deck that negs a little to start plussing. You're going to be negging a lot when they start pitching their Dark World cards because of your cards that are helping them. Being scared to activate your own cards or not even being able to was one of the worst feelings ever. And if you were the first one to activate one of those cards, oh, did you feel that pain? I definitely just have to rank this as one of the top worst, and that's why it hits 5 top worst mirror matches out there for that reason. People would be citing out their Dark World dealings, citing out so many things. It was crazy. And then it would be a pretty slow match to start until you got to your field spell and got your own engines going, but watching it struggle so beautifully. At least they did have Tour Guide by the point Grapha was out, but it definitely was just still a bad taste in the mouth of everybody who had to run it. And you might say good thing because you disliked playing against Dark World. But in the number 4 slot is one that a lot of you guys might not have run into in your lifetime, but us older players will remember also, the Final Countdown Mirror. You actually stayed in it if they activated Final Countdown first, because maybe you would have a chance to beat them down in 20 turns, but it's highly unlikely that either player is mounting any kind of credible offense in the Final Countdown Mirror. Now, a lot of people did side in Burn, which makes it even better, right? We're adding more cancer to the cancer. But a lot of people ended up siding in Burn in the Final Countdown deck, so it would become a Final Countdown Burn Mirror if they weren't already main decking Burn, such as Wave Motion Cannon back in the day as an alternate win condition. I definitely have to say, one of the worst tasting mirrors of literally 20 turns. At least it's at a time where it's not one turn, 500 steps, right? But it just, how can you look at it seriously? It's like trying to watch two people play self-destruct button. At least those people are enjoying themselves. They trolled. Self-destruct button people knew and trolled and would laugh when they ran into each other. Their goal was to ruin somebody's day. Final Countdown was trying to top, and I'll admit, it was actually my first top. We're going into the number 3 slot here, and it's much more recent from Meta. The Extra Deck Monarch Mirror and the Monarch Mirror, the grindiest resource game you ever did see. You might remember from the ARGs, the longest match in tournament history of all time. Well, it happened in our Zodiac Duels tournaments too. Our finals with Steven Delara, the 3 out of 5, was over 2 hours, and so was that ARG match. Oh my gosh, there were some insane resource games. I don't get how it lasted so long. Oh, it was terrible to watch, but I know people that enjoyed it. Hoban was actually quoted saying, "I love the Monarch Mirror," and many people reacted with, and a few people followed with, "Yes, I love it too," but definitely one of the grindiest resource games where you could tell you're losing the entire time, but you're just hoping for a way out, and sometimes you got there, but most of the times, it was just an uphill battle the whole way. The number 2 actually was in the meta for some time, the Cyframe Mirror. You see it on the Yugi no jokes all the time, but realistically, there's very, very proactive cards in the Cyframe Mirror. Now, there are people experienced in playing it, so to speak. Shoutouts to Alex over there. But it's definitely just one of the most terrible, cringeworthy mirrors to even think about, let alone play. You're both sitting there saying, "Do something. No, you do something. I'm going to set a card. You're going to set a card. I'm going to set a card. You can't do anything to my set cards. Well, I'm going to start discarding now. Is that okay?" That seemed to happen a lot. And realistically, the way to play against Cyframes is to summon Utopia the Lightning as early as you can. They can't respond to it, and keep attacking. There was nothing you could do about this here. Oh, man. What a mirror match. But our number 1... Actually, you'd probably only see it at the back tables of locals. I know it goes against the grain to not do meta after so many things that actually were parts of metas throughout time, but the worst mirror match of all has to be the Pure Kaiju mirror match. We can't even joke about it at this point because you literally cannot do a thing. Kaijus did attempt to be meta at one point, but they just never got there. They're better as an engine than they are as a deck, but the Pure Kaiju deck is literally not being able to do anything. So, sorry to disappoint you with this number 1 if you expected another meta or attempted meta tale. But what did you guys think of this list? I know when talking to people, a lot of people instantly mentioned FTK mirror matches, but I think the problem with those is actually the fact that there's FTKs. I think nobody liked playing FTK, and if they lost the dice roll, there was going to be FTKs, and while they were short, it was FTK, 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 with some sides that might prevent it. I don't think they're the most cancerous mirror matches. I think the FTK aspect of it makes it cancer. But what do you guys think deserved to be on this list? Do you think I should have included FTK mirror matches? Is it unfair not to? Because Frog FTK did come up from a few people. Bujins came up from some people, and I just wasn't there to live through it, so I didn't include it. Should Bujin have been on here? And should I have included in the main the fusion substitute? I felt like my wounds might be too fresh, so I didn't want to put it in, but looking back, I think maybe I should have thrown it up in here, but over what? Thanks for watching again. Been a while since I've done a top 10. Let me know if you'd like to see another one. Would you like to see the top 10 mirror matches of all time? Should we get classy instead of being a little harsh on the game? Do let me know in the comments section down below, and thank you for watching, guys.